Hey yo, what's up, tube? I hope you guys are having a great day. Cause mine is kind of rainy right now. But what a great week one. I mean, the slate of games I said in my last video that I wanted the next slate of games to be amazing, and it did not disappoint. Of course, you can see I completely dominated my first week one. You know, I just got the belt off for him. That's how bad he got whooped. It was never a combo. You know, it was never a game, you know. Now, no disrespect to his team, my team just really showed up and we really showed out, and I'm so thankful for it. It lets me know that my draft analysis was somewhat correct, and it lets me know that all the work I put in as far as researching each and every player that I wanted on my team or the players that I did end up with is actually paying off. But not to get too far ahead, because it only is week one, and week one could be an anomaly. It could be just a mistake, or it could just be pure luck. But in this video, I'm going to cover my player analysis for first week one. I'm going to cover. Let me just get to my notes. I'm going to cover my matchup play analysis and what I'm worried about for each play, if I'm worried about anything. After that, we're going to go for a surprise performance or surprise performances of any fantasy players or players in the league. And can they keep that up? Surprise performances like Chandler Jones, which I know is not going to happen again. And if it does, somebody has a problem. And what I'm looking forward to. Alright, keep in mind, like I did state in my very first video, we do play in the IDP league. We do vote on it every year to see if we actually want the IDPs and defense to kick it to stay in the league. This year we voted to keep it in because, you know, it's fun. It's not too unpredictable because everybody pretty much has their set IDPs they have in each week, and nothing really happens too crazy. And if a player does go completely off, let's say like Chandler Jones, who had like 54 points because he had 5 sacks and the sack yards was through the roof, they usually on the waiver wire. Like that hardly, it's only happened like once where a player went off and the player was actually on that team. So no, don't save the hate in the comments. Don't be like, oh, what if I lose because a player put up this amount? No, it's never really happened, you know. And the player, I remember last year in the playoffs, let me get past this, Devin White put up like 40-something fantasy points and he still lost the semifinals. So, you know, it's a give and take. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but that's why we vote on it, to see if we even wanted to begin with. All right, but diving in first, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford came out really tossing the rock around, and I was really excited to see that because I did state that Matthew Stafford on the Rams would be a huge boost for that offense. And man, was it between Cooper Kupp and Higbee. Cooper Kupp had the most targets, and Higbee was right behind him in the next most amount of targets. I'm going to get to Higbee later. But as far as Matthew Stafford, I'm great that he's on my team. I feel like he's going to be a great quarterback down the stretch, and especially if there's in shootout games. Now, the thing that I'm worried about as far as Matthew Stafford is that he plays on, is not even necessarily dealing with Matthew Stafford. He does play on a team with a strong defense, and we got a strong defense. They can kind of dictate the game script. And what happens is, if you're playing in the head, like I stated before, you're going to run the ball a lot more. Like Matthew Stafford only had 26 pass attempts, and I'm not really cool with that because, you know, I need all the passes I can give because more fantasy points. 26 pass attempts just lets me know that the defense balled out and that Matthew Stafford was extremely efficient with 321 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. So he's putting up the points. I just want him to get more plays so we can put up more points. But as far as that, I'm not really worried about too anything. Maybe I'm just nitpicking. Maybe I'm just looking, you know, too in depth of it. But that's just something I noticed. Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb did explode for 22 points. He had 83 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 fumble. That pretty much maybe cost the Browns or started turning the tide for the Chiefs to win the game. As far as Nick Chubb, I'm not worried about too anything. I'm not worried about much. He just needs to hold on to the football because it is minus 2 points, and I don't like that. I don't want to lose by 1 or 2 points. Between the split between him and Kareem Hunt, it was a lot worse than I expected it to be. So Nick Chubb did handle a lot of the work, even sometimes when he was throwing a rock around. So that is amazing to see, and I hope that split stays the same. Now I know when they're gonna go into when they go into heavy pass situations, I know that might change. But I can live with that. You know, that's what I agreed to when I drafted Nick Chubb. You know, when I started him. Now. But as far as worrying about anything with Nick Chubb, I'm fine. You know, the Browns got a great O-line. Even though they did have some injuries, I'm cool on Nick Chubb right now. Now, James Robinson. Now, I went back and watched the game film, and I noticed that James Robinson was on the field a lot the first quarter. But I know he didn't get his first official carry that counted for fantasy until like the last 1 or 2 minutes of that quarter. And I was panicking because I'm like, Urban Meyer came into the system and switched up completely how James Robinson being used. And then I seen Carlos Hyde had 9 attempts at the end of the game. But after watching game film on NFL Game Pass, I know that James Robinson was on the field a lot, but for whatever reason, they felt the need for Trevor Lawrence to throw the ball 51 times. And I know this in Odiede went down, but Trevor Lawrence threw the ball a lot in the first quarter. Urban Meyer, I don't know who you think you are, what you're trying to do, but this is not college, my boy. This is the NFL. You got James Robinson for a reason. Use him. And when James Robinson was running the ball, he had 25 rushing yards. When he did run the ball, he was busting it for about 4 or 5 yards a carry. and then they would just put him back on the outside and empty and just throw the ball. I didn't understand that. Maybe everybody was spooked. Maybe they tried to get Trevor Lawrence comfortable. Either way, Trevor Lawrence still threw 3 interceptions, so I don't know what that game script was going into it, but they need to flip it and lean on the run. That's why you have a great back. Lean on the run, play off of play action, ease Trevor Lawrence into this. Why go empty in an NFL game? Why throw 51 passes as your first start? That is not easing a rookie in at all. If it's not, no, it's not happening. But as far as worrying about anything, I'm not worried about it because he did have a large percentage of the snap share. Now, if him and Carlos Hyde split, I would be panicking, but that wasn't the case. Sometimes they did use Carlos Hyde for change of pace, which is completely fine to me. You know, I can live with that. All right, moving on to the next one, Julio Jones. As far as Julio Jones, I'm not worried about it because I knew for a fact there was nobody on this planet locking up Julio Quintorris Jones. It just wasn't happening. But I found out what was going on. It was Chandler Jones. Taylor Lewan absolutely got whooped. It was embarrassing. He even put out a tweet at the end of the game. That's even more embarrassing. Wouldn't did that, especially after I got whooped like that. Definitely wouldn't have happened for me. But anyway, when you got a pass rush heating up like that, you can't. A lot of the receivers can't get a. They're not going to get open. They could be open, but the pass rush is so high, Tannehill never sees him. Julio did have a target in the end zone, which was dropped or was greatly defended, and A.J. Brown only had about 11 or so fantasy points, so it wasn't necessarily A.J. Brown got all the targets or Julio got all the targets. It was just Chandler Jones was lighting up that offensive line. So as far as being worried about Julio, I'm not. I'm just happy that Julio escaped the game. No injuries, no questionable. I can live with that, you know. But I'd have been a lot upset if I'd have lost this week because Julio didn't perform because I did draft him, but it is fine. He had 29 reception yards, like 3 receptions. I could live on to the next week. It's fine. You know, stuff happens. It's just a great defense or unexpected defense on week 1. You know, I'm pretty sure the Titans didn't expect it going into the next game. D-Hop. Of course, D-Hop was going to perform. Shout out to Kyler Murray. You know, he's eating on my team. I really, really appreciate it because, you know, players magically get on my team and just start producing, but it is Hop. He had 2 reception touchdowns, 83 receiving yards. Christian Kirk did steal a lot of yards and touchdowns down the stretch. He stole 2 and some yards. Oh, that kind of upset me because D-Hop probably could have had maybe a 35 piece, but, you know, I could live with it. You know, a 26, I'll take it any day over, let's say, a 5.9 with Julio. As far as being worried with anything, nothing. Kyler Murray looks great. The Cardinals look great. I'm expecting a great performance, at least 15 every week from D-Hop, and let's just keep it going, you know. But as far as being worried about anything, as far as the Cardinals, Chase Edmonds and James Conner, it was an ugly split. I was not expecting that, but that's for another story. Travis Kelce, I mean, what can I say about Travis Kelce? It's pretty much obvious. I'm not going to get too much in depth with it. 76 reception yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. You know, pretty much a regular day for Travis Kelce. You know, it's an average day, you know. Go Kelce, go Mahomes. You know, I can't really say too much about it, but I do appreciate it. Shout out to my homeboy. Shout out to LeCurn, you know. Oh, now, the surprise, Deebo Samuel. Now, I know about a lot of people's going to say that, oh, Brandon Ayuk didn't play, and there's a whole different backlash of what's going on between Brandon Ayuk. That's a totally different story. But I watched the game film, and Jimmy Garoppolo in the offense and Shanahan catered to Deebo Samuel. He got all the drag routes, all the toss handoffs. He got all the over routes. They really schemed him to get open. And the thing is, I don't believe Deebo Samuel is wide receiver 1. I think he's actually wide receiver 2 behind Brandon Ayuk. And if he's behind Brandon Ayuk, that's going to allow him to play. He doesn't have to operate under that number 1 cornerback every week, most of the time, you know. And the way he played, they used him in every which way to get him open. He racked up 189 receiving yards. I wish he had more touchdowns, but 1 reception touchdown after yardage like that is fine with me. Even he had 34 points, almost 35 after the fumble, you know. So he could have cracked 40, but he did drop a couple passes. He had, I believe, I don't want to be wrong, maybe 14 targets and 9 receptions. That's a lot. All right. And I can, if Jimmy G plays like this all year, I can really live with that. And Deebo Samuel might be an every week flex start, you know. I just got to see how things pan out when Brandon Ayuk actually steps back on the field, you know, because I don't want his production to go way down. I don't want that. But he even produced like that with Sherfield on the field. Yes, I know they're not the same person, Sherfield and Brandon Ayuk. I'm just saying. We can skip past Tyler Bass. I pretty much played the matchup with the Panthers against New York Jets. I figured they was going to pretty much hold down Zach Wilson. I'm pretty sure they wasn't going to let him do anything too crazy. 6 sacks, 1 interception, 17 points. I played the matchup. I'm going to grab another defense this week. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want nobody to grab off the waiver bar, but he's probably going to be gone anyway. Nick Bosa. Welcome back. It's been a long offseason for him. 4 tackles, 1 sack. He did give me 16 points. Darius Leonard was a little Darius Leonard, his stats was a little they're not what I thought they was gonna be. You know, and I watched the game film. Darius Leonard wasn't as active as he was the past 2 years. So I'm have to look into that. He didn't blitz as much. He didn't have a sack. I didn't see a tackle for loss. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a slow first game. Maybe the Seahawks dictated what they wanted on offense, and you had to play more of the pass. We'll see. I'm not gonna freak out too much. And Derwin James, he had 6 tackles, 1 assist, and 1 pass breakup. You know, I don't know if he's blitzing. I'm gonna have to watch out for that game film to see, because I like DBs that blitz because those rack up a lot of points quickly. But who knows? Derwin James is one of the best defensive ball hawks, even though he hasn't really played the past couple of years. But he is still a great player. All right, moving on to the I'm going to start on his side. Tannehill only put up 7.18 points. Like I said, Chandler Jones sacked him 5 times. Per sack is 2 points. That's 10 points is off the board for him. Joe Mixon did perform well in the Bengals offense. Chris Carson had a pretty average day, 12.7 points, but 12.7 versus, let's say, a 5.9 or 10.4 is a lot better. Who is this? Oh, Stephon Diggs. A lot of the targets did go for Stephon Diggs, but he still had 14. Joe Hayden just played 1 great game. Robert Anderson did perform like he didn't perform like I thought he would. He did have like 3 targets, 1 reception for 57 yards. So I don't know what's going on with Sam Darnold. I don't know if the Jets just clamped him or what it is, but I didn't expect that. George Kittle. Between him and Deebo Samuel, I didn't expect the point differential to be really like that, because it's George Kittle. Like I said, it's just week 1. Got to let things play out. I'm not creating any trends here at all. I'm not creating no trends because it's just week 1. After week 3 or 4, maybe it's time to start looking at things. Gaskin, Ahmad, and Malcolm Brown touched the ball too much for me, but this is his team, not mine. And yada yada yada. So moving along, Sammy Watkins did have 4 receptions for 96 yards. He did look good in that Ravens uniform. But the thing is, Lamar was under pressure a lot last night. So Sammy Watkins he had 9 targets, I believe, for 4 receptions and 96 yards. And the thing is, if you're under pressure, Lamar is running for his life. Sometimes you're not looking downfield. He could have had more points. He probably could have had a touchdown. But Sammy Watkins did leave the game uninjured. He's not questionable as far as I know for right now. So he could be a good flex play down the stretch if, let's say, the offensive line blocks for Lamar Jackson. But we'll see. Devontae Parker, he did have 9 targets. For 81 reception yards for 4 catches as well. I watched the game film. Devontae Parker does look good, but again, it is against New England, so New England was going to do their best to keep Tua under wraps. But I'm going to look for that to open up. But who knows how things play out next week whenever Will Fuller gets back. It's going to be Fuller, Parker, and Waddle. So I don't know how this is going to play out, but he's definitely staying on the bench for this week. Mike Davis against the Eagles defense. Atlanta looks horrible. So I'm going to say too much. I'm not going to say too much, but Atlanta looks terrible. Tyler Higbee. Now, Tyler Higbee had, how many catches was it? Was it like, I'm going to say, he had 6 targets for 5 catches and 68 yards. And the thing was, like I said, Matthew Stafford threw the ball 26 times. And out of those 26 times, he targeted Higbee 6 times. And he had 11.8 points. I watched the entire game. On passing downs, Higbee was the only tight end. When he ran routes, Higbee was the only tight end. He was standing up. He came off the line. He did it all. He did also have a red zone target. I could live with that. But considering he only threw the ball 26 times, that's fine. Because if he threw the ball maybe 40 times, Higbee maybe looking at a 20-piece, maybe a 15-piece. He could be a solid flex player at tight end. And he did have the second most targets behind Cooper Kupp, which is very promising. Because I figured Robert Woods would have more targets than Higbee, but I guess not. But the Bears' defense was flying around a lot, so like I said, I'm not gonna create any trends here. I'm gonna just let it play on. I'm just glad Tyler Higbee is actually panning out and performing like I wanted him to. Because if he went out there with another tight end and I seen another tight end catch a ball, I was gonna lose my mind. But so far so good. My dark horse tight end is coming along smoothly. Cortland Sutton, he didn't do too much. He only had 1 reception for 14 yards, but Teddy B played a great game and Teddy B looked amazing. So maybe Cortland Sutton is shaking off the rust. Maybe you got to build chemistry with Teddy B. He gonna have to, considering the fact that Jerry Jeudy is injured. I had Jerry Jeudy on my team. He dropped 13 points, but I did drop him because he has a high ankle sprain. He's going on IR. I may pick him back up later. AJ Dillon, that didn't pan out exactly how I wanted to at all, because Green Bay was really curb stomp from rip. Like 3 minutes into the game, they had to abandon the run, or at least that's what it felt like. They played horrible. I am embarrassed to be a fan. I don't know what it was, considering we just came off the NFC Championship. Something has to change quick. Tyson Williams. I grabbed him off the waiver wire quick last week. He had a great game last night. Even though he didn't step up into that pocket and block the dude that caused Lamar to fumble in the last couple minutes of the game. Hopefully they keep him with Latavius Murray and they release Bell and Freeman, but that's kind of asking for a lot. But Tyson Williams and Latavius Murray did look good together, and they can only get better, and they can continue to learn the offense. Some of the handoffs were a little rough, but Tyson Williams did play a good game. He did look good running the football. And Javonte Williams, that didn't pan out too well, but they said Javonte Williams was on the field a lot. But the only thing that saved pretty much Melvin Gordon's fantasy day was a 70-yard touchdown. But they said Javonte Williams was really, really playing a lot, which I figured he would. But as far as my fantasy matchup, that was great. Like I said, we completely dominated from snap. It was never no doubt. I just hope you look forward to doing this for week 2. Notice it's week 2 for me. I'm number 1 in the league right now, and I still have my waiver priority. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, as far as my surprise performance of the week, I'm going to go ahead and rob with Deebo Samuel. Like, it's pretty much obvious. He played one heck of a game. Like, one heck of a game. Like, oh, this is the format I should have been in right here. Jesus. Hopefully he continues this up, at least half this production every week. Like, I'd have been cool with 15, but he said, no, I want more than 15. Then he gave me 34, almost 35. Like, that is fine with me. Another surprise performance is maybe Sammy Watkins. He did get involved because I don't know what's happening to Mark Andrews, but I need the Mark Andrews back from 2 years ago. But if this does mean Sammy Watkins getting more targets, that is completely fine with me. But what I'm looking forward to. For next week, I'm looking forward to Julio Jones and James Robinson getting back up in the mix. You know, I know I won't put up 212 next week. That's just wild. You know, especially I got to pick up another defense as well, too. But I'm looking forward to James Robinson and Julio, getting back. You know, Nick Chubb is going to have a great game. He does play Jacksonville next week, and I believe he plays Houston next week, and Jacksonville plays Denver. So hopefully they lean on a run. I would hope so because you got somebody by the name of Von Miller on the other side that's going to maybe give Trevor Lawrence hell. I don't know. Julio Jones, he should bounce back. They play Seattle and the soft pass defense. And if Carson Wentz can do it, I know Tannehill can do it. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm looking forward to win this next week. I'm just beyond. I don't go into any weeks thinking, hey, maybe I might lose. I don't do that. It's not happening. But he does have McCaffrey on the other side, and that's something I am looking forward. I'm not looking forward to. Hopefully New Orleans can keep him under wraps, but McCaffrey is a PPR machine. And he does have Swift and Hockenson playing, but hopefully Green Bay keep him under wraps. But apparently from Sunday, Green Bay is not doing anything on defense. But like I said, we did get the belt out for him this week and whooped them. But hey, hopefully we keep this up. I ain't want to know. I want to stay undefeated for at least a while. You know, fantasy and stuff does happen. Injuries do happen, and unexpected things do happen. I'm gonna let you know tomorrow what I picked up off a waiver and what I picked off a waiver. I'm looking at Elijah Mitchell, but I don't want to burn my waiver priority on him, and they take Trey Sermon and they move up ahead of him because Mostert is out for 8 weeks if you didn't know. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the week. Hope you guys enjoyed the video more so. Like I said, catch me tomorrow on the next one. Subscribe to the video. Let me know in the comment section if you...
In the race to succeed.
Good Lord, what is that?
Does somebody...
Gonna get a dog on strike. Like I said, let me in the comment section know how you feel about my team. Let me know your fantasy matchup. Let me know how you feel about your week. Let me know how you feel about certain players you looking to grab. Let me know if I say anything wrong. If I need a stat correction change. If I say anything, like I said, anything wrong, I don't think I'm always right. It's fine with me. Hope you guys enjoy your day. Stay safe and peace.